Now, as you're probably aware, milk has been a lightning rod for controversy over the last several years. It wasn't always like this. Back in my day, milk was a much simpler thing. When I was a kid, we drank milk by the gallon. Your mom would give you warm milk at night to help you sleep, even though I don't think there's any science behind that. Maybe there is, I don't know. Celebrities did advertisements for milk. Not any particular milk brand, but just like milk in general. It's like seeing an advertisement for bread, not for any brand, but just bread. But we didn't question it. We liked it. We liked our milk and it was fine. Then things got complicated. First, the marketplace became flooded with other substances called milk, even though they're not milk. We were lied to, betrayed, coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, on and on. There's no milk in any of it. These are not dairy products. It's a scam. I recently saw an advertisement for, this is a direct quote, milked cashews. Milked cashews. They're claiming that they milked cashews. I don't even want to know what they're doing to those poor cashews, that they call milking. All I know is that cashews do not have nipples or mammary glands. So you can't milk them, you pervert. But this is the complicated world that milk finds itself in now. Then it got worse. There was an active effort to problematize milk, to make it seem like something scandalous and evil. It started, of course, with the vegans who hate all that is good and beautiful in the world, including and especially dairy products. And then outlets like the New York Times started running headlines like this: why white supremacists are chugging milk and why geneticists are alarmed. PETA put out a PSA claiming that milk is a white supremacist symbol. They point to a scene in Inglourious Bastards where a Nazi character drinks milk. That's one of their reasons why it's a white supremacist symbol. So now it's milk's fault if a guy who's pretending to be a Nazi drinks it. I mean, milk just can't catch a break. Which is why the headline this week from the Daily Mail should come as no surprise. Quote, now experts are asking whether milk is racist as part of a taxpayer-funded research project into connections between milk and colonialism. Now, you probably aren't wondering what kind of connections there could possibly be between colonialism and milk, but I'm going to read this to you anyway. Here's the Daily Mail. Quote, a taxpayer-funded project is set to research connections between milk and colonialism. It was revealed yesterday. Academics at an Oxford museum will research the political nature of milk and its colonial legacies. One of the experts involved has previously argued that milk is a Northern European obsession that has been imposed on other parts of the world. Dr. Johanna Zetterstrom-Sharp said the assumption that milk was a key part of the human diet may be understood as a white supremacist one, as many populations outside Europe and North America have high levels of lactose intolerance in adulthood. The new project, Milking It, Colonialism, Heritage, and Everyday Engagement with Dairy, has won funding from the Arts and Humanities Research Council. Well, they are certainly milking it, that's true. We have to concede that much, I suppose. The article, though, continues, the Milk Project will be based at the History of Science Museum in Oxford, which announced it had received funding. The museum said, by focusing on communities intersecting industry, aid, and government regulation, the project aims to center on heritage as a vital framework for understanding how colonial legacies influence contemporary issues and affect people's lives. Through Milk Diaries, archival research, and participatory podcasting, it will investigate historical engagement with milk, building networks with consumers and producers in Britain and Kenya. The project will question both the imagined and real aspects of milk, revealing the intimate and political nature of this everyday substance. Participatory podcasting. Okay. But another important stipulation that we just heard there, we have to separate the real from the imagined aspects of milk. We must distinguish between literal milk and metaphorical milk, physical milk and metaphysical milk. Metaphysical milk will be a great name for an experimental indie rock band, by the way. One other important detail from this article, quote, Dr. Zetterstrom-Sharp took part in a talk titled Milk and Whiteness during a Welcome Trust exhibition on milk in 2022. In the panel discussion, she said a Northern European obsession with milk has led to the assumption that it's a vital part of human diet, and we already read that part. Okay. Now, of course, the idea that milk has a colonial legacy is almost certainly nonsense, but it doesn't matter because there's nothing wrong with colonialism. If dairy spread through the world by way of colonialism, that would just be one more reason among many to be grateful for colonialism. When responding to nonsense like this, we shouldn't make the mistake of implicitly affirming the left's use of colonial as a pejorative. This is one of the great strategic mistakes that conservatives have made, and we make a lot of strategic mistakes. This is one of them, is that we're willing to defend something against the charge of being colonialist when we should be defending colonialism itself. We should be saying, oh, you think that's colonialist? Well, great. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. European colonialism has been one of the greatest forces for good that the world has ever seen. Billions of people today are living better lives than they would have lived had Europeans not colonized the globe. The colonizers spread civilization, they spread the gospel, they spread innovation, they spread important ideas, such as the idea that you shouldn't murder your children to appease the sun god, that you shouldn't eat your enemies to absorb their life force. Did the colonizers also spread dairy products? I don't know, but I'm happy to add that to the list of triumphs. But this is all mostly beside the point, because the main takeaway from stories like this is that academia has been an aggressively useless institution for a long time. Now, it wasn't always this way. There was a time when academics worked on important societal problems. They pondered the deepest and most important questions of life. Seems hard to believe now, but there used to be actual insight and wisdom and useful revelations coming out of academia. But those days are long in the past now. Today, academics sit around with their heads up their own and each other's asses, inhaling their own fumes, trying to conjure up new examples of oppression and racism. They say stuff like this: by focusing on communities intersecting industry, aid, and government regulation, the project aims to center on heritage as a vital framework for understanding how colonial legacies influence contemporary issues and affect people's lives. I mean, that one sentence is academia in a nutshell. They find the most complicated way to say the dumbest things. They no longer ponder the deepest mysteries of life. Instead, they ponder why milk is racist and so many other things that are just as pointless, if not more. And that is why they, but not milk, are today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.